Hi, welcome to Project Geospatial. I'm Adam Simmons.
And I'm Mason Rothman.
Yeah, we're here for another show. We're going to talk about a couple different things. Mason, I think we're going to start with you this time.
Yeah, actually, we're going to talk about China a little bit today in Google Maps. So China did a little. So everybody knows about what's going on with China and the trade war, et cetera. If you don't, then you're literally on Mars and have no idea what's going on. Anyways, Huawei is stepping up its rivalry with Google, plans to launch its own mapping service as soon as October. This is big because they can't get the full Android package and Android development system anymore, or potentially coming up here with tariffs. And so this is their solution, which I think personally is a great thing. I always love competition in the field, even though I know it's played up as some kind of evil thing, et cetera. Maybe we'll see some new innovative ideas come out of it at the end of the day. Or maybe they'll just copy a bunch of stuff like Huawei has done in the past.
Well, that makes up a good question. How long do you think Huawei had this in the works before all the tariffs and the ban on them happened?
Oh, years probably. To be honest with you, that you'd be silly not to have a company that large, not to have your R&D folks working on multiple solutions, and Maps is of course going to be one of the big ones. That said, with the millions of businesses and venues listed on Google Maps, as well as the usability of its various functions, it's no small feat to replicate. So good luck, Huawei, and we'll see you.
Well, hold on now. That brings up on who do you think their audience is on that? I mean, so Huawei is going to build their maps for their phones and their platforms
for the People's Republic.
Yeah, so People's Republic of China. So it doesn't really affect. Do you think that? I mean, I know U.S. has a ban on them, but how about all the Europe or other nations? Do you think they still sell to those?
Oh, they do, without a doubt.
So they're going to have penetration in those markets still with their mapping.
It just depends it depends, because I even think with the new 5G antennas coming up that Huawei is producing, with the new 5G cell networks that are coming out for you, folks that aren't familiar, Huawei was going to be one of the major providers, and I think it was Canada and a few other countries backed out. The UK backed out, and now they're partially back in with Huawei buying some of the equipment and et cetera. But that aside, all the government, state, whatever, it'll be fun to see a competitor to Google Maps and see what they can do. I mean, and if anybody can do it, these guys should be able to do it, especially if they're government backed.
Absolutely. So the next topic you were talking about, and we briefly saw a hint on the screen because I didn't change it over, right? But Planet, right? You're going to talk about Planet a little bit?
Yeah, so this is cool. So Planet, so let's start with so let's talk about satellite imagery really quick. We're upon that time where there's too many images to actually look at. You know what I mean? Especially with all these satellite platforms that are launching, it's in small sets. We just don't have the eyes on anymore to see everything that's going on and what's going on in these images. So this AI part is coming into play. I played around with this over 20 years ago with in some Air Force labs back in the day down in Southern California. But this is what Planet is doing. They're doing all the various things that you don't want to mess with, vehicles, and there's a few other examples in there. But the big thing is that from an automation point of view, or let's say you're an insurance company or a provider or something, and you just want to know flat numbers of how much is here, how much is there, the automation can do it for you. At this point, it's really evolved to that level of expertise where it's fairly reliable at this point.
So that gets to what the actual story is, right? So what they're evolving into, what their actual, what this.
Well, they're moving out of beta.
Yeah.
So road detection, building detection, and vessel detection. That's what they do. And they're really good at it.
Let me show the actual
screen. This is step one, by the way, for Planet doing this, because Planet's putting I mean, how many birds do they have in the sky already? And they're launching more. There's just not enough eyes on anymore. And folks in the business know this. So this is great that they're doing this. And they've been working on this for a long time. Like I said, over 20 years ago, I was working on this with some Air Force research labs. But this is in other companies over the years since then. But it's gotten better over time, thankfully. And it's obviously needed at this point. And it will tremendously help you when it comes to change detection, et cetera. Right?
So this is them identifying, more like feature extraction, identifying all the urban growth and buildings within an area.
Right.
Road detection, which is interesting and can be very, very challenging depending on the area of the world. Planet monitoring. So it looks like ships detection on a daily basis. By the way, Planet has at the very least, a daily revisit rate per area of interest.
Yeah.
So that's an incredible revisit rate, where before we used to have to wait a couple days to sometimes a week before you get a revisit rate on a target.
Right. These are fairly easy from an AI point of view, though, Adam, because you're looking at, objects that are a certain size or a certain shape or have certain variables. And I shouldn't say it's easy because it's taken so long to do this, but what it's letting us do is see those abnormalities that stick out.
It's not just about identifying the objects, it's tying them into a use case or an analytic that actually tells a story to somebody who's going to buy the solution.
Yeah, and the one that they always sell at the conferences we go to, et cetera, when you get back to the ship tracking, it's like, the ship it's tracking off, et cetera, or it's going off course or something typical. And you can do that with vehicles as well. Buildings, obviously, for there's multiple things from insurance to airstrikes to there's multiple reasons why you'd want to look at buildings and have confirmed that they're there. And also, we don't have to go back to that graphic, but when you saw those little yellow dots calling out the roads and the houses, all the little blocks on there, et cetera, it kind of shows you the open areas where you might want to look, where somebody might be putting up a communications radar or something like that.
Well, area of potential growth. Okay, why isn't there anything here yet?
Right. From a real estate point of view or development point of view, there's been a lot of articles recently, and one of them, Geospatial is an $86 trillion industry over the next 10 years, something crazy.
Over 10 years, I'm like, wow, 86 trillion is pretty high.
Yeah.
Wait, you sure you read the right article? Because that sounds like the
don't worry, we're just going more in
global
debt.
economy.
We're just going more in debt. We wrote a check for it.
I believe 86 billion. I don't think I believe 86 trillion.
Yeah. So that was an article that was put out. Yeah, it was put out. But that's how far-reaching geospatial is. Was my point, is that it goes into almost every aspect of people's day-to-day lives.
Right on. Awesome. So briefly in this episode, Mason got a couple of articles that he caught were interesting for topics. I wanted to briefly touch on, I hope to touch on this more in the next couple episodes too, is some of the activity and maps that have been coming out. I don't want to go into the controversy, but the maps have been coming out that have been kind of interesting regarding the Amazon rainforest. So let's see.
And we're not talking about the Jeff Bezos Amazon either, folks.
Look at that. Someone's got jokes today. So one of the first ones I found, and I can't entirely see who did this. I found this off of Twitter. Switching screens. Here we go. This is apparently a reading off of the GOES satellite of the carbon dioxide emissions coming out from the fires. And somewhere on here, I thought there was supposed to be a play button.
You're right. It's 86 billion actually.
86 billion. Yeah. So this is the GOES. This is the. Oh, here you go. I can apparently just click on it. So this is the once again the carbon dioxide emissions coming from the fires.
And we have some density plots.
So if I click on them, you can see how many parts per billion, I want to say that is.
Where do they get this data from? Interesting.
So, that's the GOES satellite. It does readings of carbon dioxide emissions.
That's right.
So you can see over here, if we do like the green areas, you can see it's 120 parts per billion. Or if I'm wrong on that acronym at the bottom, please someone feel free to let me know. I think that's it. So let's look at that hotspot. What does that jump to? Wow, 3,000. So, but either way, you can see all the fires light up, right?
Right.
So all of the actual where the live fires, and this offers an interesting perspective from a mapping point of view, because I've seen wildfires with VIIRS and MODIS from the IR side of things, but showing the carbon dioxide emissions is a cool and interesting way, because I think. I kind of want to learn more about the sensor.
It's a great layer. What else would you pair with this in your project?
You could do a lot of things. Yeah. How sensitive is this sensor to look at other types of emissions?
But what other data would you pair up with it to tell more of the story whenever you're zooming in, not just those density plots?
Sure. But obviously, what other facilities can you detect with this sensors?
Automatically from Planet.
Right. Oh, well, this is a GOES. Yeah, right. So if I click on this, it's a pretty high parts per billion up here, and this looks probably a wildfire up here, and I want to say that is either Washington State or Oregon. I want to say it's Washington State.
You're Washington State.
And there's a couple other too. This is around the. This is just pollution. I don't want to say this is not even wildfires. This is more likely pollution surrounding the LA region and then San Francisco up here. So you can kind of see the difference of what's going on, and then the ones that really light up. So, and then there's to overlay it using something like a planet just to see what's actually happening down there, or what facilities emitting the greatest carbon dioxide emissions.
It's interesting when you zoomed over. I used to live in San Antonio, and as you guys know, that we've been to the GeoInts there. I was looking at that, and Houston and San Antonio are number 1 and number 2 in the U.S. for worst air quality.
But check out what's going on with Africa. So once again, I find this map very interesting, and I want to learn more about this capability and how often they reshoot this.
That's what I'm saying. What other data would you pair with it to tell more of the story?
So this isn't fires. This is all the pollution in China, and to give them a little credit, they have been working on drastically changing.
You know what? And their electric buses. I think they're full electric by the end of the year. All their buses.
Yeah,
I mean they're.
But this is an incredible sensor because you can see things that are that normally you wouldn't be able to see.
Now, remember how bad it was during the Olympics there?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So once again, check this out when you get a chance. We'll post the in the notes at some point. We'll post the website to get to this. Maybe even you can look back at our Twitter feed and look at the retweet. Mm-hmm. But let's go to the next topic. Still related to the Amazon rainforest. So this is a set of pictures that Maxar shot of the Amazon rainforest. So if I scroll through here. This is the overview, and actually zooming in a little bit, it's hard to tell, but in the center, the lighter smoky areas are actually the wildfires themselves. You got a couple darker ones, but you got to kind of, unfortunately, that whole area gets it's within the cloud belt, so you get a lot of clouds anyway, but you can definitely see the smoke.
See the haze.
Here's this is not a
Maxar shot.
That's from above.
Those are called Super Leo. They're not just Leo satellites. Right. They're Super Leo.
So a lot of these aren't Maxar shots. I'm trying to see if I can find one through this slideshow. But anyway.
It's from Reuters. But yeah, there was a Maxar shot on there.
This is probably the first one. So my point is for that is we're going to see a lot of Amazon maps and unique wildfire, overlays and visualizations that are coming out. And over the next couple episodes, we'll start showing those so everybody can kind of get an idea of, some of the unique analytics that are coming out, just to watch the progression of this fire in the Amazon. Because what they say about it, I know this is where I don't want to get into the controversy, but the debate. But they say that if 20% more of the rainforest burns, or 20% of the existing rainforest burns, that eliminates the possibility that we can revert any changes or
really at that point
like that. It becomes kind
irreversible effects.
But and that's that, and the causes of it are apparently all the logging going on there, and we've seen I can bring this up in another episode too, where they have the changes over the course of the 5 years of the amount of logging going on, the deforestation. That's nuts. It's faster than anything I've ever seen anywhere else. Probably rivals even stuff that we did in this country in the 1800s. So
good comparison.
But either way, I think that wraps up anything we need. Oh, one thing I want to talk about real quick is we've been working on redoing our website. A couple pages are done. Check them out when you get a chance, www.projectgeospatial.com. We also added a Patreon link on there. If you like watching what we have, we do this right now. We don't get paid to do this.
And we've been doing this how many years?
7 now, off and on. But we hope to do this more consistently, and your contribution will help us keep our website going and continue to help us sponsor going to more events and cover more applications and companies.
Now we have tons of future plans coming up, actually, and any assistance we can get from folks, we really appreciate
we accept volunteer work. If you folks want to come and pop on the show with us, we're volunteers for this. And if you want to be a frequent person talking about a specific topic, we're all ears. So anyway,
but we understand if you can't make it and you just want to send us money.
So just check out the new webpage, and if you want to be a contributor, we appreciate it. So once again, I'm Adam Simmons.
And I'm Mason Rothman.
Thank you very much.